this show is going to be off the rails.
It's gonna be off the rails.
It's definitely going to be off the rails, but that's how our show always is. I mean, that's the thing, is that our show is super irreverent. It is very much in the moment. We don't have script writers.
It's improv. I mean, it's completely improv.
It's improv conversation. It is super live. What's ever on our mind is what we are discussing for those host chat segments, those first 20 minutes. And then, of course the interviews will always be, they'll always be great. We always have the best celebrities and the greatest.
The best celebrities.
Can I say
we?
Yeah, you can say we.
Now?
Yeah, you can say we.
It's a super big deal. It's a big deal, I think. The show has been, this moving train for decades. I'm gonna jump on it as it's moving. The staff is amazing. Those producers have been there for how long?
Oh, I'm still, they still refer to me as new girl. Like the new girl, so, and I've been there 23 years to give you a scope of what new girl means. I just feel our audience has been with us for a really long time, decades and decades. And they've always rooted for us. And I think part of it is because I think that a great deal of people, we meet kids who are now adults all the time, who are named after our characters from All My Children. They'll come up to us and say, I was named after my name is Haley Vaughn, Christensen, or I'm just making up the last name, but, and you meet how many Mateos that are named after your character, and they're adults now.
And luckily they're not my kids.
And they're not your actual biological kids. But, and so I think it's that thing that people have been so kind to us. And now our children who are adults meet people that will come up to them and say to that, whether they're in a coffee shop or a library, what have you, they'll say, oh, I've watched you grow up. I'm so proud of you. And that means something to us.
And also when you've been married as long as we have, we started talking about chapters in our lives. There's these chapters, and this is going to be a really fun, interesting one that we can look back on. I know with great joy, and we're going to laugh a lot about it at some point.
Oh, it's like the world's weirdest psychological experiment unfolding on television.
Yeah.
Because, the reason all of these reality shows are so popular is because, they're real people having real interactions, albeit sometimes in very over-dramatized or over-produced settings. We don't have any of that. It's just a married couple working together and working their stuff out on live TV. And Mark always says, that's where he saves his complaints for the live audience because he feels a sense of safety there.
Well, when we had a live audience, I think there would always be a spattering of men, and I'd look to them for their support. And there were the wives obviously coming to the show, and most of the time they're like, dude, you're on your own. Don't go there.
I would never get remarried, first of all. That would never happen. No, I've had all the fun one man's gonna have.
I think I filled in so many times over the past few years that but I've done it so many other times over the past.
Mark has always been a great fit for our show. It's a very family-oriented show, and he's always been a member of the family, obviously. Not just our personal family, but a member of the live family. They consider him like one of theirs. Oh, thank you. It's always just been, logistics, really. It's been like a series of logistics over the many years because he's always been a natural fit for us. He's always been extraordinary when he's filled in, be it, for somebody's extended vacation or even if it's a last minute thing, he's always been there and game.
And we always have such a good time doing it. And it seems like I usually have zero preparation, so it works out just fine. The least I'm prepared.
A staple of our show.
Yeah, but no, we have a blast doing it. So I think it was as natural as something like this could be.
And we've always sort of worked together. We started out our careers working together.
Yeah.
So it's not like something that we are afraid of or intimidated
Right.
by, or people say, oh, it's so much.
And these hours are so much better.
Yeah, these hours are so
hours
much.
are-
Once you work on
a
a soap
soap,
opera
yeah.
together or a sitcom together, you realize like the live TV hours are a dream compared to all the others,
Sure.
where it's like 14 hours a day of togetherness, you know?
But for a good 7 years, 7.5 years, I was on the road a lot. Even during right after the pandemic, when we went back to work, I went back to Vancouver. I think I was home in over 10 months. I was home maybe 12 days, 13 days.
Maybe.
So we've done the other part.
We've done it.
We've lived apart a lot. And
Also,
it really worked. It really worked well. What? Wait, that worked really well.
You know what? You've just talked us out of it.
Yeah,
You've made such good
we're not
points.
doing this.
Call our agents.
Yeah, we've decided to change our mind.
No, I think the good news is that we have really very separate interests outside of work.
Yep.
Like we have diverse friend groups. A lot of our friends don't know each other, so we have like separate worlds that we revolve in outside of work and outside of our marriage. And then we also have like our friends and family that are our together friends and family. But we do have like a lot of outside interests and outside activities.
Our kids get very grossed out by us in general, but especially when we're eating, they are sickened by us. This is my daughter on vacation.
Michael Consuelos.
I had no idea that you were considered sexy.
We get yelled at all the time. And I say, get a job and support yourself. And then we'll stop talking about it.
Start knocking on the door.
She shuts the door and you hear, you just ruined my birthday.
Yeah, it's like once you have a
Announce
job
yourself.
and you support yourself, then you will be taken off the discussion list. But until then,
No, they'll always be on the discussion list.
yeah.
I mean, listen, of course there's rules and we're not idiots.
Yeah, I mean, most of our lives we don't discuss.
Yeah.
But just at a certain point, it's like, I'm not asking you permission because this is my job. And so I have to discuss something. Don't make it easy for me. We'll say something that we think is like very innocuous or like not like just something that bothers like him about me. And the amount of people that weigh in during our inbox where we take like comments from the audience, it strikes a nerve in a way. And you realize, oh, there's a lot of married people watching this show. There's a lot of like long-term marrieds, because we've been married a really long time. And so when you know somebody intimately for as many decades as we have a real comfort level and we know who we are. There are no surprises.
A lot of trust.
There's a lot of trust, and we're very comfortable saying whatever our foibles are.
And let's face it, we're not we're not accountants and sitting in a nothing against the accountants. We have very lovely accountants, and I respect them very much. But it's a fun show. I mean, it's an hour long, and
It's very
they've got
irreverent.
Great guests, and we're done by 11:30 sometimes, earlier than that.
Well, in the grand tradition, he'll be done by 11:30, and my day tends to stretch on a little bit longer. But it's
doable.
It's a very doable schedule,
it's doable.
and we like it a lot. And now with our kids being gone, it's like we have this whole other world of outside activities that we're like.
We go on vacations without our kids.
Well. We've
amazing.
gone on a vacation without our kids.
And-
the first one, and it was the best
Well,
vacation we've ever had.
right.
It was the time of our lives. We're not even ashamed to admit that. And parents that are like, how could you say that? How could you say such a thing? Shame on you. I say,
Who says that?
you've never taken a vacation without your kids.
Well, whoever says that doesn't have kids.
Or their kids are still little and they're still in it.
Yeah, and
They don't even know what's
right,
ahead.
and they're envious.
Well, it's not that they're envious. They just don't know any different. We were those people.
Suckers.